Hello and welcome to the Hillsborough Central Valley Track and Field parent meeting. We're going to try it online this year. Something a little bit different. Hopefully won't take as much of your time and you can get that crossed off your list. Our agenda, I'm going to talk about some website communication, and that's basically how I will communicate everything with you with track and field. I'm going to go over the handbook and show you where to locate that because there's a page that needs to be signed if you haven't already. We are in need of some volunteers this year, and then there will be a clothing order for parents and athletes if they want, which will be coming up shortly. So first of all, our website. This is the best way to stay up to date on changes. Anytime there's a weather issue or whatnot, I instantly update that on the website as far as the scheduling goes. And here's the information of where that's located. You can also find it on the Hillsborough website. Just search for Mrs. Eckert and it's under the side. I'll pop that up for us real quick. So that's where it will take you. And if you just look on the side, if you just search for me, you'll also find it under coaching. And then 2017 Borough Track is the homepage. On the side, it has past seasons. You want to check out some of the records. But if you click on 2017 Borough Track, it'll bring up that page. But before I get to that, if you haven't already as a parent, I would really appreciate it if you would sign up for the text services, because that is also another way that I get information out to you quickly. And the information to doing that is right here, as you can see. That's the text message that you will send, and this is the number that you will send it to. So 81010 and then at 6DF70. But on to the actual web page. So this brings up the 2017 information, and this will change. Right now it has some preseason stuff on. Your athletes have been aware that they need to have a physical, and then they need to have the red slip signed, and turned in to me. Fees need to be paid. That's the blue slip they have to turn in to me. And handbook and goals survey. So that's for the students. But I do want to pop up the handbook page. So if I click on that, those are live links. It'll bring that on up. And here's the 2017 handbook, which are team from last year. And just some information in there for you. So there's just the coaches, what we do. I'll just kind of let you peruse it at your own, but I'll scroll down a ways. Has records from regions and our school records. Has how your athlete can letter in track. So that information is on the handbook. Just some stuff that we're looking for the kids. Here's some nutrition information, some ideas. But the main pages are going to be towards the end here. And these are our guidelines. I'm not going to go into a lot of them, but the main thing we have is we have zero tolerance for excuses, complaining, and being absent. And that could affect their lettering and competing in competition. Just so you are aware of that as parents. But respect, we will always have that. Being on time, we stress that a lot with our students. Communication, attending the practices like we said. And the one I do want to talk about for parents is with the meets. They're required to ride the bus to and from all competitions. We will gladly make exceptions with that. We understand that there's maybe a wedding or something they have to go to or that kind of thing. And if that is the case and they've talked about it beforehand and we know about it and you've let us know, they still need to be signed out. And if they do have to attend something of that, we still want them at the entire meet cheering on their teammates, and they can leave after the awards or at the end of the meet. And then social media, we've talked about that. There'll be a contract that they'll sign at the end, which says you've read the handbook and all that good stuff. And again, I have the website on there. Excuse me. But the page that we need you guys to sign, which says you've read the handbook and gone through those, is here. And the biggest part we're looking for is this volunteer part. Are you going to be willing to help us out with all of that information? All right, so back to the PowerPoint real quick. Apologize. So handbook. The other part I do want to add, and this was from a conference that I went to on a clinic in track, and one of the biggest new researches that they're talking about that's come out is, so if you're asking as a parent, what can I do to help my athlete out? The number one thing they're saying, besides nutrition and just being the parents that you are, is a consistent bedtime. And they're talking about within 15 minutes each night. So let's say your athlete goes to bed at 10 o'clock as kind of their bedtime. Between 9:45 until 10:15, somewhere in that range each night is what we need to get them trying to hit. So that's the biggest thing we need you as parents doing, is get those kids to bed at a consistent time each night. Just really help reinforce that. And then we asked about, well, what if they have homework? Because some of them are staying up doing late homework. And the physician that we talked with, and his point of view was, he's like, they're better off getting up early and finishing their homework than to miss that 15-minute window on either side. And then again, I know we've all probably heard that 8 hours of sleep each night, so they're still going with the 7 to 8 hours of sleep. Excuse me. The other part we want to just kind of focus on with the handbook and talking about is practices. Again, getting that sleep and that extra nutrition. A lot of them think that this is a great time to take off some weight and whatnot. And we're like, no, you actually need more calories now than you normally would when you're not participating in sports. So that's the biggest thing for practices. And then at meets, we need your guys' help from just cheering on those athletes and all the athletes. And you guys do such a great job with that. We always appreciate it. So cheer them on from the stands and designated areas. The region is really going to start emphasizing that, making sure our athletes are on the field where they need to be, and parents and stuff are in the stands or the designated areas to cheer on their athletes. So we just want to kind of have that as a point of emphasis for you this year. And then volunteers, I'm going to have a form in just a little bit on the next page after you guys get done taking this or watching this video, to have you guys have a chance to sign up for things that you would like to be or willing to be helping out with. And I know that can be scary for some people, like, well, I don't want to run a long jump or pole vault or something of that extent. Well, first off, we will definitely train you. We're not just going to send you over there without any supervision or help or any of that kind of stuff. But we are looking to have some volunteers do stuff, because I'm sure you're aware, when we go to meets, coaches are the major ones that are doing all of the event work, and that's not typical for the rest of the state. We have a track here now, and what we're really hoping that we can do is have a lot of volunteers to help run a lot of the events. So when the coaches come here, they get a chance to actually coach. And by doing that, I know we can get a region meet here, because that's been talked about before. The coaches don't want to have to work the meets. They want to be able to go to the meets and coach their athletes. So again, we're willing to train you, but if that's not something that you're highly against, we understand that too. But would you be willing to help out in the booth? Would you be willing to help pass out sandwiches for the workers that are there? We have lots of stuff that's going to need to be done. And with that being said, we are really hoping we get a chance to host a meet on our new track, but that's all going to be contingent on if the grass comes in for those field event areas. Our track is going to be good to go, but those field event areas are looking really sparse with that grass. And the way the spring is with this thaw and freeze, that could be detrimental for our grass that we're trying to get to growing up. But we will definitely keep you in the loop on what we're planning with that. But if we do have a meet, which I hope we are, that won't be until the end of the season, probably around beginning or middle of May. The other and last thing that we have is we're putting together a clothing website, and I visited with a couple companies, and they have a way they can get a website for us where we can get track and field t-shirts, sweatshirt, jacket, hat, leggings, all sorts of different things. So I'll be sending more information out on that later if you want to. Again, it's optional. You do not need to get any of those. So just to kind of review, consistent bedtime. That's the number one thing we need your help with as parents with these athletes, is getting them with a consistent bedtime each and every night. I can't emphasize enough how much research is showing that that is a huge factor. And that's what we're hoping we can have you guys help us out with. Use that website of mine to help keep up to date on changes. Cheer on your athlete, but again, try to let us coach those guys. We've got great coaches, as you look on that handbook, that have got years of experience to help your athletes out. And if you do have concerns or something, please make sure you let us know. Our emails and stuff are on there. And again, if you haven't signed up for those text reminders with that Remind app, that's on my webpage too of how to do that. And the clothing order will be coming later. And last but not least, we are looking for lots of volunteers at our meets. So to end this all, hopefully it was short and sweet for you. We cannot wait to see this Burrow Nation that's going to be ready to rock. Thanks for all of you do.